All right, well, this month's Camp Tech TV will be about the Hour of Code. And the Hour of Code will be celebrated on December 4th and will go all the way through the 10th. Now, just because after the 10th does not mean that you cannot still continue to celebrate the Hour of Code. So you can feel free to participate in the Hour of Code even after the 10th. You and your students can access the activities on the website after the 10th. They're available all throughout the year. So what you're going to need to do is just go to your search bar and you're going to go to www.hourofcode.com. When you get there, it will take you to this screen. There are several things you can do with this, but just to go to the bulk of what you will be doing when you're participating in Hour of Code, you're going to go to Activities. All right, so with the Hour of Code, just kind of use this opportunity to explain to your students the importance of learning how to code. And one of the things I like to tell the students to kind of get them excited about it is that this is how video games are made. And you're never too young to code. You're never too young to learn how to code. If you see here, these are all of the activities that they have for the Hour of Code. And I will say, every year they do add new activities. If you see here, they can be separated into grade levels. And over here, this is what you need to pay attention to. Depending on the technology that you have, you need to check mark what your students will be using, because some of the activities will only work on an iPad, some will only work on a computer, some will work on an Android. You have some that you can kind of play with when you have poor or no internet, So just for time purposes, I'm going to show you ones that can be used on a computer. And of course, you can separate them into subjects and lesson plans and length. Now, I'm not going to get into the deep gist of it, but whenever your students are doing any of these activities, especially for the older students, there's a video that's going to be before each activity, and it's just going to kind of explain to the students, what coding is and why it's important. And it's also going to give them a tutorial on how to play the game. For the younger students, it does have a tutorial at the beginning that will kind of guide them along and show them how to do it. For your younger grades, you may want to do this whole group starting out on the board. Even for your older grades, you might want to do the first few activities whole group. If you do not have one-to-one devices in your classroom, you very well can do all of the activities whole group on the board, and your students can come to the board and they can participate. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to try to do something simple and quick. I'm going to show one. This is one that is for pre-readers, and it goes up to 5th grade. It's called Codables, and it's very simple, but I just want you to see how it goes. And with this one, you do have an option of logging in. You can create like a class account, and it'll save your classes work. But for the most part, I just do play without saving. And for each activity, it starts out very simple. Of course, you have to build that confidence with the students so they get excited and they want to continue on. It's just like a video game. It gets them hooked on it at the very beginning because they make it simple. But as they do progress, it does get more difficult and it involves more critical thinking. So I'm just going to show you one very quickly.
Help Blue Fuzz get to the end of the maze.
With the object of this
Which way does he need to go first?
The students try to get the arrows and they have to tell little Blue Fuzz which way to go. So you're building the code for the directions. So you see this is the tutorial.
Now which way?
And it's telling us what to do. So this would be great for the little ones
Now which way?
for their first time.
When you think you
Then
have
you
the
press the
correct
play
code.
button. And then it goes on. We're not going to do the next one, but when it does the next one, you see it doesn't give me the options. I have to now choose the code to make the little fuzzball go to the end. So that's just an example of one, and that is great for the little ones starting out. Let me close this. And when you get to more of the not going to say more difficult ones, but the ones that are really geared toward the older students, they actually have blocks of code, like you can see right here, and they will build the blocks of code. And when the students have participated and they've completed the, I guess, whichever the goal is for that activity, they will have an opportunity to get a certificate printed off that says they completed the hour of code. So like I said, it goes to pre-reader. These are for grades 2 through 5. And it's a lot of characters that they'll recognize, which will kind of excite them and get them engaged. 6 through 8 has different activities that they can participate in. And then you have some for your upper grades, for grades 9 and up, that they can participate in. Most of these games start at grades 2 and they go on up. But, like I said, they do get more difficult as the activity progresses. But it's important to give your students an opportunity, a chance to code, because in their minds, they're playing a game, but they are really building lines of code, and there's lots of critical thinking involved. So give your students an opportunity to participate in the hour of code this year. I'm telling you that it will have them hooked. They will enjoy it. As always, you contact me and I'll be glad to come out to your class and to assist with the hour of code. And don't forget that they can access this all throughout the year. You don't only have to, you're not set on just having to do it December 4th through the 10th. All right, well, this is another episode of Camp Tech TV, and I hope to hear a lot about you all participating in the hour of code, and I'll talk to you all later.